Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. In the previous video, we learnt about the three remaining moral qualities for discarding evil from among the four fundamental moral qualities which describe all human behavior. As usual, the link to the previous video as well as the book under study is in the description below. In this video, we'll start to learn about the moral qualities in relation to doing good. So let's get started.
اسمعوا صوت السماء جاء المسيح جاء المسيح.
The first moral quality in relation to the doing of good is that of forbearance and forgiveness. Now, you may be wondering, how can this be in relation to the doing of good, whereas forgiveness is normally considered passive behavior? Well, His Holiness explains that when a person commits an offense against another by causing him pain or harm, then he automatically becomes liable to be punished either through the process of the law or even directly by the individual he has wronged. Now, to forgive him, only if forgiveness is appropriate, would be to do good to him. Now, paraphrasing two verses of the Holy Quran in this regard, His Holiness states, that is, good men are those who control their tempers when they are roused, and who overlook people's faults when that is appropriate. The recompense of an injury is a penalty in proportion thereto. But whoso forgives and effects thereby a reform in the offender, and no harm is apprehended, that is to say, exercises forgiveness on its appropriate occasion, will have his reward with Allah. These verses shed light on a very unique aspect of the teachings of Islam. That is, that the Holy Quran does not teach non-resistance to evil at all occasions, such as providing the other cheek to one who has hurt you, nor does it teach punishment in all circumstances, such as an eye for an eye. What the Holy Quran teaches us is that we should always take into consideration if the occasion calls for forgiveness or punishment, based on the best interests of the public as well as the offender, with the ultimate objective of bringing about reformation. Just as it is not appropriate to forgive blindly on all occasions, neither is it appropriate to seek retribution in all circumstances. Balance is essential. Forgiveness and punishment, according to Islam, become virtues only when exercised at the correct time and place. For example, sometimes forgiveness results in the offender becoming ashamed and rectifying themselves, whereas in other times, forgiveness can incite the offender to further wrongdoing. His Holiness explains that some people take forgiveness to the extent of shamelessness, which becomes inconsistent with dignity, honor, and chastity, so much so that the result of their forgiveness and forbearance is that people are disgusted with them inevitably, because the perpetrator continues in their malicious ways. This is why Islam emphasizes that moral qualities are such that are done at the correct place and time. His Holiness, further explaining this, states, it should be remembered that forgiveness is not a moral quality in itself. It is a natural impulse which is found in children also. A child soon forgets an injury if it is inflicted upon him wrongfully, and again approaches affectionately the person who has inflicted the injury upon him, even if such a person should intend to kill him. He is pleased with his beguiling words. Such forgiveness is in no sense a moral quality. It would become a moral quality when it is exercised in its proper place and on its proper occasion. Otherwise, it would only be a natural impulse. There are a few people who are able to distinguish between a natural impulse and a moral quality. We have repeatedly pointed out the distinction between a true moral quality and a natural condition, which is that a moral quality is conditioned by conformity to place and occasion, and a natural impulse often comes into play out of place. A cow is harmless and a goat is humble, but we do not attribute these qualities to them because they are not invested with a sense of time and place. Divine wisdom and God's true and perfect book have made every moral quality subject to time and place for its proper exercise. Bringing us to the end of today's dars. In the next dars, we will continue to learn about the fundamental moral qualities in relation to doing good. As mentioned before, I have linked the book under study in the description below. Click the bell icon to be notified of future lessons, and also make sure to subscribe, like and share this video so that we can enable as many people as possible to benefit from the treasures left behind by the Promised Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.